Hi, welcome back to the Sequire Spotlight. We are here at the gorgeous SoFi Stadium, and with me I have Nick Phillips, CMO of Medix. We are here to hear more, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. We want to hear more exactly what Medix does and what you have planned for, say, Q1 of 2023.
Sure. Medix Inc. is a consumer products company based here in Los Angeles. Our mission is to make a difference by creating products and services that solve everyday problems, not using chemicals. So our focus is in pain management and pest control, those industries primarily right now. And we're currently a private company, but in hopefully 2023 Q1, we're hoping to possibly list the company.
Now, these poisonous, harmful chemicals that we're all very familiar with in our households, in our food products sometimes, is this something that has seen any pivots to in terms of us moving to a more natural, healthy way of keeping rodents, pests away?
Well, I think that in general, and we definitely saw a lot of this in COVID when people were stuck at home, um, the momentum and movement in general towards a safer environment and safer communities and safer households is definitely going in that direction, especially depending on where you live. Here in the United States, when it comes to pest control and chemicals used in pest control, there's hundreds of thousands of gallons, if not millions of gallons of chemical pesticides used all over the place, from stadiums like this to in the where they grow our food, in agriculture, schools, transportation, restaurants, your home. People literally have no idea how often that they're exposed to pesticides. One, in the United States, the regulations and the rules are much more loose than they are in other places. For example, in Europe and in the EU, especially in Asia. So with our products, what we're trying to do is offer an alternative solution that does the same job with the same efficiency around the same price, where there's a lot less risk to the consumer, as far as the risk of being exposed, long-term exposure, which still doesn't have a lot of science doesn't totally understand how long-term exposure works. And that's what we're trying to do by creating these products and offering alternatives in these industries.
Great. And so the one sphere to that is the harmful chemicals that you're trying to eradicate with your new products, but there's also the pharmaceutical side to that. And can you tell us more about those products and how you plan
Sure.
on?
So we have our pest control brand is called Natureside, and our pain management products are under the brand called Thermalade. And the Thermalade products are technology where we utilize a specially engineered corn kernel in order to create heating and cooling packs for adults, and also for children. And we came up with an idea of helping children who have pain or are feeling unwell when it comes to fever, teething, growing pains, ear infections, all these different things where it's really difficult to get a child to calm down when they're feeling pain. Instead of always giving them medicine for this, that, or the other thing, we've created this heating and cooling pack that you put in the microwave or the freezer in the shape of a teddy bear. It's become a huge, huge successful product in e-commerce for us, and selling direct to consumer, and also distribution through healthcare distribution outlets like Cardinal Health.
Excellent. Now, I imagine that quite a bit of research and technology needs to go into these products, these experiences of a new healthy way forward. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. One of our main focuses at our company is the research and development side of this. Our CEO, Matthew Mills, has a major focus on product development. He comes from a track record with that. All three of our product lines, Natureside, Thermalade, and Malibu brands, all have products that have gone through extensive testing, third-party testing, efficacy, clinical trials. So when it comes to creating natural products that are going to be disrupting or penetrating some of these industries that have been around for a long time, that are very kind of organized and stable and have been for many years, it takes a lot of social proof. It takes a lot of a lot of organization in order to prove to these industries that don't like to change that these products work and that people actually want them.
Right. And are there approvals in place? Did you touch on whether the FDA needs to approve it, has approved it, or?
Well, for the over-the-counter products, it doesn't require any sort of, as an external application product, it doesn't require any FDA approval because it's not a pharmaceutical drug. And when it comes to the pesticides, they're considered 25B exempt because of the ingredients we use in the proprietary formulations are not on a list in which we do have to get the same type of regulatory approval that you would if you were using synthetic chemicals in some of these other pesticides. So we do have to hold ourselves to a very strict standards when it comes to how we manufacture, how we label the products. All the labeling requirements that we have to do across all of our brands are the same strict rules that the chemical companies have to. But because we're using plant-based essential oils primarily, those particular ingredients are not required for us to get approval in the United States. Now, pesticides in other countries, for example, in Asia, in the EU, and in Europe, each country has its own set of rules. And that's why entering in and scaling and growing in the pest control industry is challenging, because everyone knows what it's like to go through the red tape of regulations on a country by country basis. So Canada is different than Mexico. The process of getting registered in Australia is different than it is in the UK. And the UK is different than it is in the rest of the EU. So that is our next challenge and our next big kind of growth step here. As after we list, we get an infusion of growth capital, and that is the next play for the company, is to really invest the money and the time that it takes to get through that regulatory process on a country by country basis, get them these natural products that they so desperately need because regulations are so strict there, and really let our partners and our distribution partners, especially on the pest control side in Europe, really run with this.
Excellent. And I was just about to ask about those distribution partners, third parties that what would be the sales channels that you would look to embarking on?
So on the pesticide side of things, we've really focused primarily on commercial pest control. So we sell to distributors who then sell to independent and large-scale professional pest control operators. Those are the people that are driving around in the trucks and doing hotels and trains and planes and stadiums like this. That is our main focus for the pesticide world. We also have a do-it-yourself version of those pest control products for nature side, which are sold on Amazon, Walmart, and in some kind of traditional ways on the pain management side as well. It's primarily direct to consumer, but we do have healthcare distribution who sells directly into independent and medium regional size at this point over-the-counter pharmacies to get our products into those pharmacies and out to the general public. So it's kind of a mix of traditional retail and then also e-commerce.
So, Nick, let's talk about you for just a second.
Okay.
What brings you to this space? What brings you to this passion for, making chemicals out there safe for all of us?
Sure. I think for myself, it's been very satisfying knowing that you're working hard every day, kind of in the trenches, going up against these huge conglomerate global companies that are, and you're making a product that does the exact same thing that those products do, but there's no way it can harm anyone. So knowing that we have that, and that's what we're fighting for, and that's what we're fighting up against, that's very satisfying for me to know that we can do the same thing that all of these companies have been doing since World War II, and we have a product that we know and is proven to do the same thing across so many different applications, and we can really make a difference from, for example, vector control. 700,000 people in the world die every year from vector-borne diseases from Africa and Central America and South America and all over the world. And to know we have a product that not only can help with that, but also is not going to poison the community when you're, instead of just spraying chemicals. So you have this you have this balance that you have to have in pest control, where it's like, well, you don't want people to get sick from the diseases that but you can also poison them by using if you're not careful. So we can solve the problem and not cause further harm immediately or down the road. So that's for me what I like, what I get out of this.
Excellent. So you mentioned earlier that there was an S1 filed. We're looking
Yeah.
forward to an IPO in the near future. Maybe you can't say too much until that's all public and done, but in terms of your current supporters, we'll call them for now, you mentioned having at least 3,500 investors, shareholders,
Yeah.
before you've even gone public.
Correct. So our company has a very strong, a very enthusiastic base of shareholders. The company was started by a small group of investors, and from there we've always kind of been at the tip of the spear. We were the second company to be qualified by the SEC to do a Regulation A way back in 2015. We've done 3 successful Regulation A raises. Through that time, we've been able to, raise enough capital for us to get to this point. And now we're to that point where we need to access that large scale capital that the public markets can offer us in order for us to really take this to the next level and to really grow that. Our shareholders have been very excited about this opportunity because they've been along with us this whole time since 2015. And we're just excited for the opportunity if it presents itself in the right way. Hopefully, in 2023, the markets get to a position where we feel comfortable that it's the best move to make for the company and for our shareholders, and that opportunity presents itself for us.
Well, we certainly look forward to hearing more about the public company and getting the ticker, and as well as getting Netis as our platform client, where we will help you to understand all those inner workings of your investors, the shareholder movements, etc. But Nick, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're watching the Sequire Spotlight. Stay tuned.